Hi, I've been asked to make another picture of a Henry 8K amplifier being tested. So let's point out a few things here. This here you're looking at is the very last Henry 8K ever produced. This is it. So this was the last one. Came out of the factory in March of 2005. Over here you have the multimeter, and right now we're reading plate voltage. And you can see the plate voltage is about 6,000 volts. I'll switch to filament, and there's the filament voltage. It's reading about 7.8, 7.85, just a little bit higher there. Grid current reading 0, of course, because the amplifier is not being engaged. This is the watt meter. It's a built-in Bird watt meter. It reads forward and reflected power. This switch here is for peak average power. This has been added in after the amp was purchased. This standby switch is not normally there, so that was added afterwards. So you can transmit, through the relay, through inside the amp without keying the amp over, so you can check your SWR. Here's your tuning load knobs, and if you take a look, there's a whole bunch of little numbers here on these here. So each turn all the way around. If you go from number, like right in here is a number 8. If I turn on one whole revolution, we'll go to number 9. So this here is like a vernier dial, and it goes from 0 to 10 with all the little increments in there, and the load is the same way. So over here you get the forward reflected switch of the Henry 8K Ultra. Now this here amplifier, for those who aren't familiar with it, made by Henry Radio, it runs a 3CX 3000 tube. Very heavy duty amp. This here, what you're looking at right here, this here is just the control head. There's no RF, nothing in there. The remote or the RF deck and power supply can be run up to 100 feet away, and this one here is about 35-40 feet away. So you got the band switch here. If you want to change bands, the way you do it is you'd shut the amp off. Okay, very much you have to watch that. Shut the amp off, and you change the switch to, say, 75-80 meters, and I'd turn the power back on, and it would be all set. So you can't switch this switch when the amplifier is running, even though it's not keyed. You can't switch it. The amp has to be powered down. You make the switch and then power up. The amp is an instant on. There's really no warm up time here with this amplifier. So what we're going to do here now is actually I'm gonna test the amplifier for output. Okay, I got a couple sets of different meters to test it. I have a Power Master 10 kilowatt meter, digital readout, and we also have a coaxial dynamic peak reading meter. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna check the output power going to the amplifier, so you can kind of see what the output power will be that's going to be driving the amp. So, and the amp right now, if you look over here, it's in standby. See, that's what it's engaged, and that's when it's out. So this here is the Array Solutions power meter, and I'm just gonna set this down here so I can talk into the microphone here a little bit, and test. Test. So you can see that there is over 400 watts of drive. Over 400 watts of drive, and we're going into a dummy load, and we're going to engage the. We're going to turn this here Henry on now. Okay, we're going to turn this here right on over here. We're going to turn the switch on. So we'll set this up. So kind of set it up so you can kind of see from a distance. Okay, and I'll swing it over here to look at this digital watt meter. So we'll go back to the digital watt meter. Now this is being driven with what you just seen, 400 watts or so. Okay, and show you the difference between the PAL style power meters and coaxial dynamics and stuff. So this is a Power Master meter, and then we'll do the same thing. We're driving this with about 400 watts, whatever you've seen on that digital readout before. Here we go. Test. Hello. So you're seeing maybe up to 6,700 watts or so, I do believe. So we'll come right over here, and we're going to look at this here meter. This here is a coaxial dynamic meter, and it's a 10,000 watt slug in there. And if you're watching before the meter, you're reading the bottom scale, and it says 20, that's going to be 2,000, 40 is going to be 4,000, 60 is going to be 6,000, 80 would be 8,000. The end of the scale where it says 100 would be 10,000 watts of power. All right, so everything is times 100, the reading, and you're reading the bottom scale there. So I'm going to get over here, and we're going to do the same test into the microphone that we had done into the other meters and show you the difference. Coaxial dynamic meters are supposed to be very, very accurate. And they always read the PEP power higher than all other meters. Okay, they just do. It's supposed to be very accurate. If you look at them, they're comparable to Bird. A very, very accurate, reliable meter here. So here we go. We're going to give it a test. Test, test. Hello, test. And you can see the type of power that they ran. It was running over 8,000 watts. I'll do it one more time for you. Test, test. Okay, so you see that's running over 8,000 watts of power output into a dummy load. So we'll go back, and we'll go back to the Henry amplifier there. And there we are. Sorry about having to slide back and forth there. I do apologize. But there it is. This is the Henry 8K. Very, very last one made. It's tuned on 160 right now. Going into a 5,000 watt dummy load, so I cannot really run it too long into the dummy load. That there is okay. I didn't hear the fan kick into the dummy load. So, I mean, that's about it. It's a pretty broadband tune amplifier. This amplifier here can tune anywhere from 1.8 up to 30 megahertz. All the frequencies in between. How do you tune it? Just like basically any other tube type amplifier, you tune for maximum output, and you watch your grid current, and don't exceed too much current on the grid. But this one here, even running at the levels we've seen, it barely moves the grid meter, barely moves the meter. So even though it maybe look like it's driving it hard, according to all the dials and gauges on the amp, it's got more to go. The amplifier here has the transformer, plate transformer is good for 1 amp, continuous, 2 amps intermittent, and I think that just about wraps it up here. I have had requests to show the demonstration of the amplifier again. So for those who's been asking for it, there you go. This here is the Henry 8K. This is the last one produced by Henry Radio, the very last one, produced March 2005, 3 months after Henry Radio announced they would no longer produce anymore. They fulfilled all the rest of the orders they actually had, and now they don't produce any HF type amplifiers. Hope you enjoyed it. Nice amplifier. If you ever get the chance to get one, try not to pass up that opportunity if you can. They're very, very nice. When you have to have the best, it's the Henry Radio amp. It's not for running all the power. Not a big power advocate, but if you have to have and you want to run the very, very best, it's not an automatic tune. It's just a regular amplifier built heavy duty. Henry 8K is the way to go. Thank you.